costumes designer, and I will take over the job of camera.
Okay, let's start with introductions down on this end. Come up to the front and introduce your character to us, please.
Jonathan Boucher is a historical figure and a true loyalist. He was a Christian preacher who preached sermons about his beliefs. Boucher preached that the king's power came from God. Boucher also argued that the colonists should obey the king's law. Lots of people liked Boucher because he was intelligent and charming. He also said the laws made life easier. Boucher was a great man.
Lord Dunmore is a proud rich loyalist that is the governor of Virginia. Lord Dunmore dressed properly, unlike Benjamin Franklin. Lord Dunmore helped make laws to protect the people of Virginia. He used slaves for a better cause by making them fight by his side. He also is a little excitable.
Thomas Hutchinson. Thomas Hutchinson was a loyalist royal governor of Massachusetts. He became one of the most hated men in the colonies because he always sided with Britain. As an official, Hutchinson firmly enforced British laws like the Stamp Act. Also, as a loyalist, Hutchinson argued against independence because he said the colonists needed the king's help and wisdom. He also argued that the colonists could not govern themselves without Britain. This was Thomas Hutchinson, a loyalist who always supported Britain.
Please give a warm welcome to our stupendous guest, Mr. Samuel Adams, a true patriot, a man of freedom for all, a proud former student at Harvard University who wrote a paper on people's rights to fight against the unfair government. I'm sure you've seen his articles in the newspaper. I mean, they're fantabulous, right? And again, please give a warm welcome to he himself, here to fight for freedom, Mr. Samuel Adams.
Mary Otis Warren. Some of the things she's done in her life: she was a very strong writer from Massachusetts. She was a patriot. She also writes articles about women's rights. She fights for women's rights. She writes articles, plays, and poems about colonist freedom. Welcome all, and the loyalists. We have gathered here to if we should have independence or not. For the patriots, our representative is Benjamin Franklin. We have chosen him for his loyal deeds. He's a highly educated man, and he's calm with his actions. He's a great writer, printer, inventor, and scientist. He persuaded Britain to repeal the Stamp Act, and he's loyal to the patriots in the colonies. He's one of our well-respected patriots. And now here we start our debate.
Okay, excellent job. I would now like to ask each of our panel members to make a statement answering this question: should the colonies declare independence or not? And let's start down here at the end with Mr. Jonathan Boucher.
Yes, because it's unfair that we can't leave the colonies, that when we want to and we don't want to start a war.
And Lord Dunmore, should the colonies declare independence or not?
I believe not, because the king has protected us through these years. England has protected us through these years. We have promised England, these colonists and me, all the people in these colonies have promised the King of England, we will be your loyal subjects. We will not back down from that promise, me being a loyalist. Thank you.
And Thomas Hutchinson.
I do not think that we should declare independence because the king is the one that let the colonists come to New England, and we don't know if the colonists can survive without the king.
Okay, Sam Adams.
Well, yes, I do think that we should declare independence because this is what the debate's about, freedom, and that's what we need. And Because we think there are unfair laws and not a good government. And we will not rest, we will not do anything until justice and is served, and so is freedom. Thank you.
Mary Otis Warren.
I think we should declare independence because the British is being very unfair. Being a woman, I've been pushed around my whole life, and this is just even worse, like double the pressure. And I just think that the acts are unfair. I mean, they don't even apply to British, but they still pass them.
And Ben Franklin.
Yes, I do think we should declare independence because of all the unfair acts and taxes. Also, I think we should declare independence because you're charging the colonists, the French and Indian War is just getting all the tax and paying them for their food and their shelter.
Okay, thank you very much. So I think we now see where our patriots and loyalists stand on this topic. So we have some questions that we would like to share as we all determine which side should we be on, neutralists? Should we go with the loyalists and fight to keep the colonies part of Great Britain? Or should we go ahead and fight for independence and become our own nation? Let's see what happens with that. Okay, our first investigative reporter up here at the front. Ruthie, would you like to have a question, please, for Lord Dunmore? Okay, come forward and let's see, do we have your microphone? So you're bringing, do you have a question for Lord, you are a loyalist?
Yes.
Okay, so you have a question for perhaps Mary Otis Warren?
Yes.
Here's your microphone. You may ask her the question.
Why are you throwing away men's lives just for the sake of freedom?
Because I think it's unfair. We should have our own rights to be able to do whatever we want.
Okay, pass the microphone. And are you an investigative reporter for loyalists or patriots?
Loyalist.
So you have a question for a patriot?
Yes, I will do.
Let's have a question for Ben Franklin.
Okay.
And anyone lazy enough to fall asleep during a meeting does not have the right to be a diplomat.
Oh, what? A diplomat. Okay. I fall asleep in meetings because they're just going blah, 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 blah. See, this is why Britain is giving all these unfair tax and acts to us. And we don't have any land. You guys get all the land, and the colonists don't have any. We just have a mile of land, nothing to do. We have to buy tea from yours, not any other countries. That's why I think.
If you've already asked the question, let's have you move to the end of the line. And could I have a patriot investigative reporter come ask a question for a loyalist, Lord Dunmore? Come forward, come to the front, and ask him your question.
How do you expect us to buy expensive British goods when you barely pay us to work all day?
Well, the French-Indian War has cost us, has given us great debts, and taxes must be raised. We must rise our taxes because we have huge debts. We can't afford to do much, and we just have to raise them. The king knows best. He raised those taxes to protect England and the colonies, not just England. We must all pay the taxes, work hard, and serve our king.
Okay, and another question for a loyalist. Let's ask Thomas Hutchinson.
Thomas Hutchinson, we don't need your help. Why do you help us?
Well, it's just like parents and a child. We are just trying to protect you and help you, but you are trying to fight against us.
And do you have a question for a
Loyalist.
loyalist? Let's ask Jonathan Boucher a question. Come forward.
Jonathan Boucher.
Why would you limit our space to the proclamation of 1763?
Can you say that again real quick? I didn't hear it clear.
Why would you limit our space to the proclamation of 1763?
Well, wow. I'm sorry. We're trying to protect you from the French and Indians so you don't get hurt.
Very interesting answer.
All right, I need a loyalist. Do you have a question for Sam Adams?
Samuel Adams, a true patriot. If you declare independence, a big war will start with England and then Britain, and then thousands of people will die. And then just a few bad laws. Is that what you want?
Well, we may be able to settle something out with the others, and I would not like that to happen. I would rather just to say that we all just deal with it ourselves and not get violent.
And Josh, are your questions for a patriot or a loyalist?
patriot.
For a patriot? Okay, how about Mercedes Warren?
If you declare independence, how do you expect to get food, water, government, houses, and a job and earn money?
Well, we'd make our own jobs, and we'd get paid more than we do by the British right now, and we'd be able to buy our own food and live for ourselves, and we wouldn't have to house the redcoats and waste all our money on them. Have freedom.
Okay, Susie? Do you have a question for a loyalist? Let's do loyalist, patriot, loyalist, patriot.
Okay.
So who would be next? Jalen, you have a question for a loyalist?
Yes.
Great. Take the microphone, come forward, and let's ask Jonathan Boucher a question.
Why do you obey the king's laws if you know they are not right and fair for you, and you disobey God?
Well, disobeying the king is like disobeying God, and we need what's the word? We need to what's the word? Hold on. Can you help me
PR
out,
person.
Thank you. We need to trust the government. Well, yeah, we need to trust the government because it could lead to a war with Britain and England.
Okay, come forward. How about a question for Sam Adams?
How do you know you can survive as a government without the king's help?
Well, we have many other people who are willing to help with our government. And I myself went to Harvard University and studied politics. But we will not have unfair laws. We will not do anything to upset our people. And so we will actually have a great government.
Question for Thomas Hutchinson?
Already.
Okay, how about Lord Dunmore?
Lord Dunmore. So Lord Dunmore. If you make patriots more popular, why don't you join our side and make yourself popular?
I do not think patriots are not popular. They are nothing but criminals. All they do is destroy our property, waste thousands of pounds in dumping tea into the water. They're nothing but criminals.
Why can't you just make fair laws?
Our laws are fair for what has happened to our country. As I've said in the past, the French and Indian War has depleted our money, our resources, and many other things.
Mr. Franklin, do you have a comment on that?
I do. I'm sorry. But we have no freedom. Still, we have no freedom. We can't buy any other tea from any other country. We have to buy your tea for the French and Indian War.
It is
Why do you
because
think that?
that war was extraordinarily expensive. It was probably one of the biggest wars we have ever had. It was huge. It cost money. It cost lives. We have to pay back our debts, or England and all its colonies, not just here, but everywhere in England, will have, it'll be chaos, riots, chaos, not just here in England. Bad things will happen. We must tax tea
I've
and
heard.
any other product.
I've heard that you've got some land. Why can't you share that with the patriots here? And the colonists, they want land.
Well, I bought that land. Being governor of Virginia, I suppose I do make a little more than the average man. So, is it against the law to buy land of your own?
Would you like to share some of that money with the colonists and the patriots? No.
I
No.
would prefer to take care of myself.
Oh.
Mercy Ediswarren, you have a
You are
comment?
against taking care of others because of the redcoats. Don't try to pull that on me.
Okay, the British, it seems like they don't even care about us. The only reason they did the proclamation line was because they want us here for our money, not for, they wouldn't care if we all died. Well, they would because we have money that they want.
would. England's king, you are subjects of England. Maybe some of you ruthless patriots we wouldn't mind, but we built that wall to protect loyalists, neutralists, and maybe some low patriots. But if you continue these riots, I cannot promise everything will stay calm.
Have you realized that British, all the other colonies that you so say they have, they don't have to pay taxes on anything.
We all pay taxes, we all work hard, and we all serve the king. That is final.
Okay. Comment back here.
If you have land, why can't you just sell it to pay off your debts?
I do not have debts. England has debts.
Why can't you use the money to pay it off?
Yeah, why
Why
don't you
don't-
help England?
I pay the
If
same
you're a
taxes
subject
as
of
everyone.
But you
You
say
guys are
you're
so
all worried about
subject of
England, yet you don't help them by giving them some of your money.
You guys have
but we're
so much
subjects,
money.
We're subjects.
You guys
You're
have so
supposed
much
to
money.
help
Why
the
don't you
king.
sell it to
give us
pay our
any
debts?
You're a loyalist.
We already have some people being swayed one way or the other. Mr. Beam, who do you have questions for?
I have a question for Mercy Ediswarren.
Okay, you seem a little fired up. Let's keep your calm while you ask her her question.
You dare get involved in politics. What's next? A woman governor?
Well, I believe in women's rights. Okay, so women can do the same thing as men. There's no difference. I don't like that people underestimate what women can do. I mean, we can do as much as all you other people can do.
Mr. Hutchinson, comment?
So why don't you fight in the war? Why don't you want to fight? Plus we work hard.
I don't know.
Okay, I cannot hear Mr. Franklin's assistant here.
We don't fight in the war because we lost most of our people. Why would we fight in the war again?
Because you said that women can do the exact same thing that men can.
Yeah, so we can.
So you can fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't you?
Because
We
we have
should do
families
all
to
this
take care
other
of.
stuff in the colonies, like do their laundry and everything, and so we don't have time to go out and do anything.
Well, you're good at it.
Plus
Let's
Plus
move on to our next question. Do we have a question for a loyalist?
Yes.
Who?
I would like to ask Lord Dunmore.
Come forward.
Lord Dunmore. Nice man, but no sense of humor.
What does that have to do with politics? I'm
Asking you your question. Why do you believe that the colonists should obey British laws?
Because you and the colonists and loyalists and neutralists and patriots have made a promise to the king. We will obey our king, we will trust our king, and we will trust our country. That we have had war, debts, we have to pay them back, or there will be chaos. I have said that. Thank you.
Okay. Question for Patriots?
Yes.
Who would you like to speak to? Ben Franklin.
I heard you were a strong patriot.
Yes.
Disobeying the king is like disobeying God. Would you want to disobey God?
I don't believe that. I believe that God is not that man right over there.
I never said I
Is
was.
not God. Maybe
He's the
you
one who
loyalists think that God is him. I don't.
I never said that.
Power comes from God.
Yes, it does.
Power does not come from God.
Yes, it
God
does.
and King. God made King. King George III.
God made people.
God believes
Not-
in fairness,
no.
not unfairness.
Can the
Well,
king
he-
make people?
He goes up in a boat and starts shooting colonists. Do you think that's what God does?
God believes in fairness, not unfairness. He believes in rights for all people.
Okay, we have a comment over here on the loyalist side.
God gave king the power, so why do you disobey the king? He has the power to do anything.
God would not give the king the power. He's passing these unfair acts. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even realize that we're hurt.
The king is selfish.
He's trying to protect
He's
us.
protecting
Down
y'all.
the Atlantic
Mr.
Ocean.
Hutchinson?
He only realized when after the Boston Massacre.
Besides,
He-
what
he's
took
trying
something
to
It took
Mr.
something
Hutchinson,
that
please.
big
Form a
to
big
make
war.
this.
Yeah. Killed thousands of people.
Mr. Hutchinson, please.
So why do you try to disobey the king's laws when he's the one that let you come to
We want freedom. We don't want him anymore. We don't want him. We want freedom. We want freedom from him. If he doesn't give them freedom, if he doesn't give us freedom, get him out of here.
We could just take away all your rights.
That's
We're the ones that let you come here. We could take you back to Britain.
Well, God is almighty, all-powerful. He not the king. King can't make people. King can't do things that the God can do.
So you're just trying to rebel against your king?
Well, he's not God. We can't believe in him. He's not the truthful one.
I'd be happy to leave this. I don't care if I have to go back and there's no land. I'd rather live with no home than live here now because all the unfair rights. But there's no way I can do that because the proclamation lies.
Sam Adams?
I don't think there's a way you can take away rights when you don't have them.
We have rights.
Who is my
You
next
have rights.
questioner?
Oh, well, I was just
Jeanette,
gonna
did you just
continue
go?
this. Why can't you just live with a few bad laws? You don't have to form a big war and kill thousands of people.
It isn't a few bad laws.
Yes.
It's space. We don't have enough space. We're all crammed in a little mile, just a little tiny little bit of space. And we don't have freedom to go buy other tea. Again, we don't have freedom.
That doesn't mean you can dump 90,000 pounds of tea into the harbor. I have to agree.
Me too. Me
too.
I'm not supposed to get attention.
Me
How
too.
am I supposed to tell you?
Fish
Those
don't
are
like
too
tea.
long.
Okay, my next questioner.
and
Who's your
even
Okay, excuse me, Josh. Do you have questions for Patriots or Loyalists?
Patriots.
Okay, I need a Loyalist question.
Yeah, I was just gonna continue.
I'm
Who has a question for a Loyalist? Ruthie? Come on.
He's a question. You have.
No,
You have the same
Patriot.
Patriot. Who's gonna ask us?
We need a question for Jonathan Boucher. Do we have
Oh,
one? Have you asked him one yet?
Yes.
You did. Okay, who do you have left then?
Thomas.
Mr. Hutchinson?
Why do you enforce acts that are unfair to you and others?
We are just trying to protect you. We're trying to, because we have to help you. To protect you, you need some money and taxes.
But we don't have enough money to pay those taxes.
Then work harder.
I know, work harder.
We work too much and we still don't even have that much money to pay all the taxes.
So you are just trying to fight and make less money for you.
Have you ever asked for a raise?
And you
Okay,
kill a
Mr.
lot of
Hutchinson's assistant has
Well, you don't want to pay taxes, so if it wasn't for the French and Indian War, you wouldn't be able to move here. And if you were back in England, you probably won't have some of the rights you have here. So be grateful.
Okay, our next question for a patriot.
Why are you fighting against us? We own the land and we are letting you stay here.
Okay, again, we need freedom. We don't have enough land. We don't have any freedom. Again, the tea. Tea. We can't go buy any other tea except yours. We have to give the money for your tea, and so you could give the money to the French and Indian War.
But it doesn't mean you can just dump 90,000 pounds into the sea.
That's way
Well, we did it for one reason. We don't like your tea. We want to try different
Then
varieties.
why buy it? That just makes more debts for you.
Yeah.
Well, you're the one who's not giving us money.
You cost us thousands of
We
dollars.
work hard every day. We work 12 hours a day. What do you expect?
Work harder. So you just make
We work hard
right
enough.
now.
We barely pay us.
Okay,
For wasting a lot of money.
next question. Do I have a question for a loyalist?
Yes.
Citizen
Jonathan
House.
Boucher.
Of course.
Jonathan Boucher. If you were a priest and you're a religious person, why do you put these laws on us?
I don't put the laws on you. That's the governor over here. I don't put it. I just priest. I only do speeches for religious freedom. And the reason I obey these laws because I don't want to be in trouble and I don't want to be arrested.
Why can't you destroy our side?
I don't want to because y'all destroy like thousands of property.
There wouldn't.
And
there wouldn't be
and-
property
yeah.
destroyed if you didn't put
You
these
just
laws on
destroy
us.
property because y'all are mad at the king.
You don't give us freedom.
We work hard every day and you barely pay us.
That's the governor that barely pays you, not me.
That
I'm only a
is
priest.
not true.
Your assistant has a comment?
Going back to the last debate, you guys are putting more debt on us by dumping all our products and wasting our products.
Because Jonathan Boucher thinks king is God.
Well, because Samuel Adams' assistant, because he thinks king is God, so he believes what he believes. People might not believe that, but he tells his own way of saying, like Mercy Otis Warren, she does plays for it. So, but he thinks of a different way.
Next question.
For Thomas Hutchinson, nice man. How would you respect the King George III if he tells you to do things you don't want to do? He's the one that made me governor. I know, but why would you want to do things that he doesn't want you to do? I just have to listen to him. I made a pledge to him. We've all made pledges to him. Rather than
Usually me.
the decision.
Plus, I've been threatened by patriots, so I keep pistols on me.
I know, but if you pledge to him, you promise to do what he says, right?
We have.
Then in the beginning, why did you start the French and Indian War? And we don't even have that land anymore because you added the proclamation line of 1763.
Because there are natives out there who would rather be eating you than talking to you.
But
They want you dead. They don't want you on your land. It's too dangerous.
yeah, but if we didn't have that war, we wouldn't be here right now.
Who started the world?
Yeah, because you guys started trading with the Native Americans.
They have good products.
So you can make them yourselves. We are working 12 we work hard all day and we're doing things that you like. Then why would you go to them and buy things that we're working hard for?
Because it's stuff we cannot get. There's stuff out there that is not here, piece of there.
Well,
We don't have it.
Next
maybe
question.
Like,
Did you
why
ask
we
your
came
question
here to
on me?
America? We don't have
Okay.
maybe like
My next interviewer.
I have a question for Samuel Adams.
Okay.
Your protests are getting worse day by day. You cost us thousands of pounds of tea. can't answer your question if it's not in the question.
Why? Why, please? Because it's unfair that we have to buy tea from one company. One company.
So you pour it in the ocean?
You don't like tea? Well,
If you don't like tea, then don't buy it.
I know.
Big deal.
We
There's
like
no point
tea, but we can't make our own tea. We have to buy it from the stupid British East India Company.
we're forced to. Because we love tea so much.
Because we were losing
Hey,
money.
neutralists, are you getting a picture here of both sides? Are you seeing what's being said? Josh, your question is for?
So you say you're upset about your debts, but you were the ones who dumped 90,000 pounds of tea in the ocean. That's basically what you're paying for.
We have warned the Loyalists and England all about our freedom. We say that we wanted freedom, and we say we want to go buy tea from other countries, and then you said no. You said no. Loyalists said no. So we come back for revenge. I'm sorry, but that's what we would do.
So you just want the Native Americans to kill you just so you get 1 month, oh look, I'm free, and then a Native American kills you.
More like
That's
one
not
day.
Yeah,
what
we don't
That's
want to be in
Proclamation
this
of
debt.
1763.
We do not want to be in debt.
Well, then why did
After the Boston Massacre, you took some of our loyalists and you burned them with tar and covered them with feathers. So you're doing worse to us than what we did to you, and our laws are fair to you than what we did.
Just making our debts worse.
Okay, our next question. We should be coming to the end here, right?
Not a questions.
Okay. Sumed, do you have questions left? Who is your question for?
Actually, we don't.
Okay. Jalen, do you have questions left? Who is your question for? Great.
But that you already know. But last time you said
Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Why do you obey the king's laws that he makes if you're a preacher or a priest and you obey God and his laws are not right?
his laws are right, but like I said before, disobeying the king is just like disobeying the God.
But the king is not God.
Yes, but God gives him power to do anything he wants. He's making fair laws so he can keep y'all safe.
But they're not fair to the patriots.
Because
God
y'all are making the debts worse by dumping thousands of pounds of tea into the ocean and destroying property.
Sam Adams?
Yes.
God gives us all power, so would that make us all king?
No. But he's the one who he's the one who can do anything he wants because he owns all the land. He owns everybody. He owns all the houses. He has the most money.
Yet you're a priest and you believe in God, and you know he has all this power, and you still think that the king has all this power.
You're the priest.
And you are the priest of the city.
Yeah.
I know because I believe in religious freedom, but I don't obey the king.
So you.
I don't want to be like shot.
Then why are you saying the king is God?
Yeah. When you're.
I'm
a
not
priest,
saying the
God
king.
crowned
I'm not
the king.
saying the king is God.
That's what you just
but
said,
it's
like
no,
that.
it's just
God
like
made the king.
it's like obeying. It's like obeying
God
God.
gives
but
us
the
our
king is
power.
not
Okay,
God.
Mercy Edisford.
Okay, so you say dumping tea in the harbor is bad. When you place all these taxes on us for everyday things, you kill our people, and you make us house these redcoats and give up all our money when you barely pay us to work all day. And you think that is worse? You think that pouring tea in the ocean is worse than that?
Yes, because you left us. You're making the debts worse on yourself.
Then why are you sending redcoats to our homes? We have
Yes,
no
because
money.
they don't have it on.
Yeah, they can say
They
you
can
say
only
that
stay in England.
They're out in the water and they have to fight.
you say they're there to protect us. All they've done so far is make us angry and kill some of our people.
Okay, do we have a last question over here?
I'll just call him Dunmore.
The reason we have the steps is because we fought for so much land, but we don't even have it anymore. So why don't you fight for the land?
Why did I? No, everyone, any British subject was in the war, whether they were fighting or not. We went through suffering, men died in the war, and people will still die if you go out there. It is a dangerous wilderness. It's unpredictable.
And from your words, you said, I will set any slaves free
I
to help never
never said any slaves. Only 800 out of many. It was
to help you fight in
hard,
the war.
but it was not to end the war. It was to take down tyrants who live in Virginia. All they have done is destroy property, beat redcoats. They have done nothing good. There is nothing good coming from them.
Well, why'd you say it then? Why'd you set them free?
So they could take care of these tyrants. So the slaves could do the work the redcoats could not at this moment. Because they are getting beaten.
Okay,
That is
let's
why.
give each of our panel members and their public relations agent just a moment to whisper and think about your final statement. Neutralist, audience, questioners, Avi, you need to be back here with the other investigative reporters. Have a seat. We will have final statements. Okay, this is our final statement from each panelist. Neutralists, remember that we are trying to decide who has the better argument. Which side makes sense? I am not asking you what you believe in history should have happened. I am asking you, based on this information that you have seen today, would you agree with the Loyalists, or would you say that the colonists, the patriots, have a better argument? Based on this debate, you are trying to decide who defended their idea the best. Not what actually happened in history, but how this debate proceeded. Okay, you'll each have about 30 seconds. Mr. Boucher, final comment?
Yes. Disobeying the king is like disobeying God. We aren't trying to put unfair laws on y'all. Y'all are just making it worse for y'all.
Lord Dunmore?
I would like to say, we have made a promise to our king, and I will keep that promise. I believe you patriots have done far worse than what you believe the king has done. The king is helping you in your best interest. He could give you freedom, but then you could get killed by a neighboring country. They are not as compassionate as us Brits. They will kill you the second you walk out of the second you leave our territory. Native Americans will kill you. Maybe even someone will declare war on you. This isn't good. Bad things will happen. Believe me. Freedom
Mr. Hutchinson?
should not happen.
I believe that you should listen to the king because you are his people, and then you all made a promise to him, and if he believes that you should listen to him, then you should.
Mr. Adams?
I believe that we should have freedom because it's not fair that all of the loyalists over here are rich and don't have to pay as much when we barely get paid at all, and they say we do bad things, but it's basically not fair.
Ms. Warren?
I just want to say that I am not proud to be ruled by the king. I mean, I feel so bad to be ruled by someone who doesn't even care what happens. All he wants is our money because of his guts. And I just want to say that I feel proud to be a patriot and want my own rights.
And Mr. Franklin?
I think that the British have serious unfair laws. And before we poured all the tea out, you guys had unfair laws before we poured it all out. Do you have anything to say about that, Lord Dunmore?
Yes, I do.
Okay, these are closing statements, so this will be your final. And now, I would like to give our neutralists a moment to think. You guys did an excellent job.
We had questions. Last question.
Miss Ballard.
Okay, excellent job, guys. Are your hands tired? Good. Oh, still running.